Zoom. Okay.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go. Now it's
Okay.
recording.
There it is. So I guess we could look at Folio first. So it's a portfolio tool that
Mhm.
allows students to kind of build a resume as they go. So this is good for a capstone course if you want to create or showcase some of your best work, some projects that you may be working on. And if you have any badges from Badger, you can also import those badges from there. So if I go to settings,
So
see,
can students access this once they graduate?
well, actually they can because it's portfolio. Now they may have to change like an email address, but yeah, they can.
Okay,
Yeah, because it's
because they
portfolio.
didn't used to be able to.
Oh, really? Okay, but yeah, so yeah, they may have to change an email or so, but you see they can import items from Canvas and they can also import items from Badger. And let's
Okay.
get back. And they can also, if I think I'm logged into that. Okay, so this is what a resume would look like. So as they're adding jobs, as they're adding things, so you see that they can kind of create a resume. Or if they just want a simple summary of their portfolio, they can also get this. And you see it's pretty basic. It just gives the portfolio a name and you have a link to that person's profile. So if you're really trying to, I guess if a student really wants to network, they might want to go with the resume option. And okay, so the analytics, and now, so I don't know if you've seen the new analytics, option, like I guess you've seen the button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for this one, I pulled some screenshots from an actual course. So you get an average course grade, you can see how the class average has done. You can see how they've done on an assignment. You see that you can get weekly activity, and this report does update every week. So it's not immediate, but here you get an idea as to the page views, the participation, and you can filter that out by section. So if you have a course that you have multiple sections combined, and you can also filter that out by students. And you see, I've got these students' names, blurred out, to protect their privacy. But you can see page views, like an average amount of page views, their participation. And that's just different shapes you can do. You can do like a square or a diamond. That's, insignificant. But, and here's a snapshot of what, you can see. Like you can look at who's viewed, like the roster. You can see who's viewed a page or how many students have viewed a certain page or an item. You can see who's gone into, or if students have gone into the modules. And then now this is an individual student's, report here. So I can look at a course grade, I can see weekly activity, and I can also look at communication. Like if you have communication with that student using the Canvas inbox, you can see how often you and that student have exchanged messages.
But to see the actual messages, you need to go into your inbox.
Yeah, you would need to. This is just kind of giving you like an overall
Okay.
view of what you've been doing, but I believe that you can actually communicate. You can also,
Yeah, you
type a
could do the
message from
communication from there, but to see the actual email,
right.
you're going to have to go into the inbox. Okay.
And these are the different reports that you can run. So like missing assignments, any late assignments, excused, roster, course activity. And the online attendance is relatively new, and you can kind of dictate what you consider to be online attendance. So if a student posts, if a student accesses the course, if they submit, they create a page. So
yeah, I can see if you have really big, I mean, my classes are very small.
Right,
I can see them on one screen. I don't even need.
right, right.
So, but I can see how this would be really valuable if you were the course coordinator.
Coordinator, right?
Yeah, and you've got, 5, 6, 7 sections of lots of students. This could be,
Yeah, that could be beneficial to
that
you.
could be really beneficial on the reporting.
Right.
I mean, I just look at it and I kind of know what my students are doing.
Right. And that's probably, if you have a small class, that's probably what you would do. But like, I guess if you're one that teaches like a really large gen ed, this would come in handy.
Yeah, I could see
for
how
you.
it would come in handy.
And then like your inbox, you can also message students who viewed, who didn't view, who participated, or who didn't participate.
Oh, I like that one. That's nice.
Yeah.
Again, for those large classes,
Yeah, it
that's
is.
really good.
Yeah, that's a convenience. And then you see like if I've got an activity selected, I can do all sections, I can do, all 41 students or however many students. And if I want to deselect, I can do that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I use that functionality through the grade book, but
Right. That's how
I
most
used that this morning.
No, you did that this morning, huh?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
message students who didn't.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah. So not too many of you really know about the analytics tool, but it probably comes in handy. It's a good way to catch a student that before it's too late,
Yeah, like I said, especially in those big classes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that part we don't maybe necessarily sell well enough to the gen ed faculty, but maybe we do. I don't even know if my undergrad faculty in nursing know anything about
About this tool.
yeah. And
Yeah.
but I also don't know how much they actually use Canvas. I mean, we live and die on it in the grad program,
And then
but
especially clinical faculty who probably have very little to do except
have
for
they,
uploading a form,
I was gonna say, I doubt they even log in.
Right. Now, I don't know if you or any of your colleagues use Studio, but like with Studio, you can pull videos from, you can record a video, or you can also pull a video from YouTube or Vimeo and share that with a link. But also, Studio also has their own analytics, and the best way to get those is through this Studio tab.
Let me ask a quick question. If
Sure.
the way I understood it previously, and things may have changed. So if
Okay.
I pull a YouTube video into here and I put questions in it and I do stuff to it, and
Right.
a month from now, the owner of that one takes it down.
Right.
YouTube, I'm done.
Right. Now, I haven't had that happen, but that is a concern, and I guess it's not common, but there is always that chance. And now some owners, they have their videos available to download. So if you really did, I guess, want to use that, I guess you could download that, and if you didn't, there's also
Because one thing I have noticed lately on some of my favorite sites,
okay,
that people are taking stuff off as they're adding new content, and my suspicion or my guess would be, the cost of storage space of all these videos. So I noticed some places are taking off things, so I always tend to warn my colleagues, it's great to pull it off YouTube, but you better understand
Yeah,
it
and you know what?
could go away.
Yeah, and something I tell faculty as well. I say, okay, that's great, but I would limit it. Like, because, you know, like you said, there's, especially when the owner is not, when, especially if it's not a large, you know, channel, like, I don't know, like a TED Talk, you know, if it's somebody who I guess is relatively unknown, but the topic that they do a video, I guess, on a topic that you like, you know, you don't know if that video could be taken down. There's less of a chance with that with, like, you know, a TED Talk or even a news channel. But, you know, that's still, you know, a risk.
Yeah, well, actually, with the news channels, I've noticed a lot of them are pulling stuff off
Oh, have they?
once it's kind of
Once it's
no longer in the cycle,
right.
or they move it
Mm-hmm.
and that link may no longer work. But
Right.
yeah, so there's some risk to this, but yeah, you're right. You gotta know what you're doing with it. And I'm not sure I would do a lot of, you know, adding test questions and stuff to something I don't own.
Mm-hmm. Right. But,
Yeah.
you know, but Studio does have its own analytics. So
Yeah.
and then now this tab, you know, it's not seen by students, you know, tried it in student view. So you don't have to worry about students, you know, just accessing the video from here versus where you would want them to. But you do get these insights and, you know, they're pretty good. You get an overall idea as to how the video is being viewed. You see, like,
Now, at
that's
one
where it's viewed the
point,
most.
a few years ago, we figured out that if they watched it through their phone,
Mm-hmm.
the Canvas app on their phone,
Right.
they weren't showing up in the analytics. Do you know if that's changed?
I haven't tried that.
Have fun,
But
Scott.
yeah,
Oh,
I
he's
haven't
already gone.
tried that. Yeah, I think he stepped out, but yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't tried it, but you know, like I've logged in, you know, to Canvas on my phone and, you know, they're typically pretty good, you know, about
Well, it
showing.
worked. They could see them.
Right,
But when I went to look and say, when I looked at the analytics,
right, to see if they watched it, it wasn't.
yeah, they weren't
I'm,
showing up.
you know what, I'll have to try that in a test student, you know, as a test
Mhm.
student using the app, and then I can let you know if that did happen.
Yeah, because well, I figured it out. And I actually had because I mean, I teach informatics. So it's like, okay, guys, this is a great learning experience. Let's
Mhm.
test this out. And we tested it out. And at that point, and that was a couple of years ago, it
Mhm.
may have improved.
Right.
So just an interesting question.
Yeah, I'll have to try that out.
Okay.
Like, because I have the Canvas app on my phone, so I'll
Yeah.
have to try it as a test student and see if it does. And then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I will definitely let you know. Yeah, that's because, you know, that's not something that I've been asked before.
Well,
But, you
because
know,
I'm weird,
right.
you know, I get into these strange,
Mhm.
what about this? And what about that?
Right, right. I guess, you know, I'm kind of like that too. And then, you know, a bit about video quizzes and how you can do multiple choice. You can
Mhm.
do
Yeah, I'll
two
be
off.
honest and say I haven't done much of that,
Mhm.
but I can see how it would be handy in certain use cases.
Right. And then it's, you know, it's a good idea, especially if, you know, for those who do require lectures and they want to see if their students are actually memorizing, you know, those lectures, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, because you get some pretty good data on that. I mean,
Hmm.
you you get an analysis, you get an average score, a standard deviation. You can look at each item and see how many missed that, and then maybe you think, okay, I mean, you could almost use that for sample questions. And if you see a lot of students are missing that, you could say, maybe I won't use that one, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Or
yeah.
if they're using, or if you see that they are getting it right, you might think, maybe I'll use this here, and maybe I'll use this on, I don't know, a comprehensive final or something. And then,
And this is one of my students told me this, and it was my doctoral students, believe it or
okay,
not. And she's also faculty.
okay,
So we were talking faculty to faculty about
Mhm.
whether or not, should I use survey or should I use a quiz, da, da, da. And she goes, well, I'm going to tell you a reason why I think you should use a quiz instead of a survey. And I went, and she says, and it's silly.
okay.
I went, okay, let me have it. She says, when we complete a quiz, we get the celebration stuff on the screen. You don't get it on a survey.
Okay.
And I'm like, really? And she went, but it's so much fun to get the celebration. And I went,
Right.
thank you for that feedback. I'll have to see what I can do about that over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, seating chart. That's cool.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that. That's the Canvas attendance tool right here. And then
I
it's
haven't actually
also,
fiddled with that.
you haven't? Okay. Well,
No.
so it's also the roll call tool. If you set up an assignment and you select an external tool, it's also the roll call. And so, and if you want to see how that works, now see, you can take attendance with it. Let's take a look at, let's look at it in the list format. You see, you can mark somebody here absent. If you want to excuse them, you would just leave that. And then here's the late option. And then if you go to this spin wheel here and you want to determine what you consider to be late. So let's say it's like a 50-minute class and they are 10 minutes late. So I mean, they missed 20% of the class, because 40 minutes out of 50, that's still 80%. You can decide
So
that
are
you
they
can-
logging in when they get there, or
well,
because you're talking
this-
about a face-to-face class, which I never teach.
yeah, this would be good for that. But also, if you have a class that's, I don't know, hypothetically, synchronous, if you want to see how this seating chart works, you can do that as well. So if I click on class and then I decide to do edit the seating chart, you see I can move students
Oh, how
around.
cute.
Yep, I can move students around. I can decide, it's a good way to keep, to organize your seating chart. So it resembles sort of what you would see in a face-to-face course, but yeah, you can move that around. Yeah, and it automatically saves, so that's cool.
Okay.
And you can do that with, all sections. So if you're, teaching a course with multiple sections combined, you can do the same thing with those sections. And also, you can run an attendance report. So let's say you want to see attendance from, I don't know, March 1st to like today. You would input those dates, and then you can put any email address here, but I would just put the campus email address and do run report. And then when you do that,
It's going to come to your inbox.
and yeah, you'll get a CSV. And last time I tested the link, it lasted like 6 hours. So it would be good for 6 hours.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Oh, just
Mhm.
you got things happening. Yeah, I got things happening. I
Yeah,
got it.
I know.
I got
Gotcha. Right.
got things happening. Yay me.
I hear you. But all right. So this tool, not many faculty know about, but it is convenient if you are a fan of group work, the Canvas collaborations tool. Have you played around with that or not?
I did a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is all of this, because it uses Google Docs, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can do Google Drive. Google Docs or OneDrive actually. And
I was going to say Google Docs is outside of the firewall, isn't it?
right, so you can do OneDrive as well, but you'll just need to ensure.
Yeah, right now I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you would need to just, let's see, if I go to my settings, I would just need to make sure that I have the OneDrive
It's
option.
already up there.
Okay, oh, cool deal.
Yeah,
Good,
I see it
okay.
already.
All right, I would just have to make sure that that's enabled. So yeah,
Okay.
you can actually do either one. For the longest time it was primarily a Google Docs thing, but you can do it with OneDrive now as well. And you can do documents, spreadsheets, or presentations. And that's good for students who are prone to losing items, you know? And then and if you're setting these up, it's a good way for you to, I guess, do spot checks on your
Mm-hmm.
students to see how they're doing, you know, and even give a little feedback as well. And, you know, students can also create these. It would probably be for the purpose of shared notes.
Yeah.
Now, my only criticism is that it doesn't tie back to the grade book, so you would need to create an assignment, but as long as you have the file upload option selected, students can pull from OneDrive, from Google Docs,
Yeah, but
etc.
it might also be a nice way to do, like I did a sign up sheet
Okay,
to say, here are the topics you can pick. Once
right,
somebody signed up for it, you can't pick that topic anymore.
right. Mhm.
And I just put a link in the assignment, but I guess I could do it in collaborations. I'd have to see if it was, I'd have to
Yeah,
work on that one.
yeah, maybe that's something you can try out in a sandbox course, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not a tool that, you know, many of you guys really, I'll be honest, I don't think many of you know about it, but it is, you know, available to you.
Yeah, I did know about it, but my concern was
Yeah,
it was originally it was only Google Docs and Google Drive, and I was like, yeah, that's
it
not
was
behind our
limited.
firewall. So
Yeah,
I don't muck outside our firewall.
yeah, but now you have the option to
Mhm.
use OneDrive, and that's good, being that this is a Microsoft school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and now my understanding, I hear that the Writing Center uses primarily Google, and you know, there are some institutions that use both.
Yeah, see, I don't see how they can be using Google if it's outside the firewall.
And I don't know, look.
To
Hey,
me, that sets you up for potential problems
yeah,
if, and that's what I teach inside the school of nursing. It's like, no
as
Dropbox, no
now,
anything that's not under
right.
that you
And Dropbox
see,
is,
Tyler.
you know, Dropbox is, you know, I don't really use Dropbox too much either, to be honest with you.
It's like, learn to use OneDrive. I know you don't, of course, now they're all killing me, but you know.
I hear you. So, and
And
then I
unit
guess,
check's not been too bad. I don't use
yeah,
it on a lot of my
right.
stuff.
Now, and then we briefly went over templates, but do you
Yeah,
remember how to set the template up?
yeah,
Okay, cool deal.
yeah, yeah, I do.
Okay, and then
Like I
rubric,
said, it's not something I do a lot of because a
right,
lot of my stuff is you're either right or you're wrong. I don't do a
right.
lot of big papers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, with items like, and then, you know, like with rubrics, you can,
Oh, I love
they're
my
pretty
rubric.
flexible. I know they're so convenient, aren't they? And then also it's, you know, these essays for uploaded items, you know, you get these annotation tools so you can really mark on students, you know, paper, and you can provide additional
Mhm.
feedback there.
Yeah, I know several of my colleagues still download them, do it in Word, and upload them again. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, because it just seems like it would be easy to upload the wrong critique to, you know, to a student's
It's
paper, you know.
possible.
Now,
It is
and let
possible.
me say this, I do wish that there were a way to simply import a Word document into this rubrics, you know, feature, but you know, that's another story. But
Well, and I kind of wish it started with the most recent courses when you're searching rubrics rather
yeah,
than every frippin' course you've ever had.
yeah, but you know, also I don't know if you know about this, but you know, if you have like any outcomes in a course, you can attach those to a rubric. So like in this
Yeah, I
semester
haven't
course,
really messed with those much.
mhm.
Might have to do it now with the new AACN
Yeah.
essentials,
Well,
but
when you add those outcomes, you can actually attach those as a criteria to a rubric. I think I have one here, and you see the little target sign there.
yeah,
That indicates, that that criteria is an outcome that you created in a course. So yeah, you can attach, outcomes to a rubric. So if you have some in particular, but also this, if I mean, you're in a doctoral program. If the doctoral program has outcomes that would be used towards the entire program, a rubric can be created at the account level that all faculty would be able to, utilize. So whenever you pull up a rubric, so let's say I'm going to an assignment and I want to add a rubric to it. Let's see. Let me go to an assignment. Like if you do that, how whenever you go in and you pull a rubric up and you want to pull from different courses, like
mm,
yeah, you
like
would see,
everyone you've ever taught.
right, you would see an account, a sub account show up there as well. So like I know like
Hmm.
engineering has one, but yeah, but if you have a rubric that would be common amongst all of you, that could be created in a sub account. That way you wouldn't have to create one assignment and have to constantly figure out how you can share that rubric with your faculty. All of you would be able to just pull it up.
Now that's a good thing to know, because I did not realize. I'm assuming Zuma would have to create that for us at the
Well, I mean,
account level.
any of us could. Sorry, Zoma.
You're totally fine.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
any
that's
of us
not something
could.
we can do ourselves, but if we agree on like a discussion rubric or a,
Right.
okay, I have to
Yeah.
share that with,
Yeah, that would be something that one of us could, create, and you guys would all have immediate access to it.
okay,
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah, I'll say, I know I know she's probably thinking, why did you open your big mouth? But okay. Sorry. No. And now this is a neat little tool, this accessibility checker. So
Hmm.
yeah, when you go in, it works with pages and it works with, text in general. And you get issues whenever you click on that little
Yeah.
person. And it works pretty well with charts too. And a tool that I like is this immersive reader tool. And it's a Microsoft tool, but there is a plugin available in Canvas, and students can turn that on themselves. So they would just go to their settings and they would go in, and I'm looking for,
There it is.
oh, there it is right there. You see, I've got it enabled.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll read it to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can. Yeah, you can have it read aloud. You can do a male voice,
Girl X.
a female voice. You can make the text a little wider. You can look it up to 5 lines at a time. And if you want like a darker screen, you can actually do that as well.
Hmm.
And then you can filter out certain parts of speech, and they're color coded. And if you want to add the labels above each part of speech, you can do that. And one thing I thought was kind of neat was this little one. Like if you click on certain words, it'll give you an illustration of what that word is. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then of course, if you're using Microsoft Edge, it's available relatively easily. So let me move this page over here. And typically it looks like a little book icon, but in the event that you don't see it, if you just highlight the article or a portion of it and you right click, you can just open up that selection there. And then you get much of the same options like the text preferences, the read aloud. The things
Color
don't really
wheel.
change much. You
A
do
color wheel, also known as a
you do get a few more voice options, and then the grammar tools are pretty much the same. And then, yeah, I meant to go over like the different languages you can translate to like a different language, and there's several languages that you can use. So, you know, great accessibility tool that is becoming increasingly available right now with Google Chrome. It requires like this add-on called Helperbird, but you know, it's kind of limited, but it's gradually becoming, you know, more available.
Mhm.
And then the annotation assignment is kind of neat. And then this is also good if you have like a form and you just need a quick signature. So going back, so I'm in here somewhere. Okay. Yes, I'm logged in with a student account. And so as a student, now I'm a student, and I guess you can see what's on the screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. And you see I've got all these markup tools. I've got this highlighter, I've got this free form or free
So
drawing.
even as the students, you've got all that.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is for a particular, you know, an annotation assignment. So you would create the assignment, and then you would do the submit online option, and then you would do student annotation, and that's what this is. And then once you've got the annotations, you would submit that. So once I've got that, I can submit that assignment. And if you want to see how that's set up, here it is. So if I go into edit, and so I did the online entry and I did the student annotation, and then, you know, I would attach the document. So this is also a good way to allow a student to critique an essay. So, you know, it kind of puts them in the role of being the teacher. Yeah, I don't know how many of you use it, but you know, it is something that's come up.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody use it, and I know I haven't.
Right.
But-
And you know, I'm not surprised. You know, not a lot of people have. But let's see, let's do the whiteboard. And I think Zoom has improved its whiteboard. It's got a lot.
Yeah, and there's
more
one in
features.
there's one in Office now in Outlook.
Mhm. Oh, so in Outlook, because I knew Microsoft had one.
Yeah, the new now that we're upgrading, that's another option is a whiteboard.
Yeah, I will have to try that one out.
That one, bookings, the
Yeah, I knew-
bookings is phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. And
I don't have to pay for Calendarly anymore.
Right. I'm glad that, you know, that option is available to us.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that's great. So now, and it'll be, and once, you know, the client is finished, you know, doing what it, or,
Yeah,
you know,
once
integrating
they
this-
get it all straightened
Right.
out, then we can
Mhm.
really start delving into things
Right.
to do.
Yeah, but you see with this whiteboard, you can
Yep.
import images, you can import documents, and then you can have students, you know, annotate on that. So, I mean, I think that, you know, the Zoom whiteboard definitely has improved, you know, recently, because now you even have templates that
Mhm.
you can start off with. Because if you remember the old one, you know, it was somewhat limited, like with as far as shapes and even like the markup tools. I do like that this one is,
Yeah, I wouldn't get
They-
people too used to this though.
I think it can come good if you're like, I think the best scenario for this one would probably be like a live, you know, online synchronous course, and you're trying to get some brainstorming, you know?
Yeah, the problem, well, I would use Teams to do all this once Teams get straightened back up.
Mhm.
Because I still doubt that we will be keeping Zoom forever.
Right. And in Teams, Teams has so many integrations. I mean, it has a lot of
And it
has a lot of
comes with
stuff.
our package.
Well,
We're
yeah,
not paying for a separate license.
well,
So
yeah, that too. Now,
yeah,
I guess the challenge is trying to get faculty a little more comfortable with using it, because there are some faculty who do find it to be a bit intimidating.
well, that's where you just start. I mean, I guess where I try to start teaching things like that is what is the option that I think the majority of people are going to find value in. Like I was teaching to a group of folks from the School of Nursing this afternoon
Okay.
about Outlook, the new one. And
Yeah.
I taught them bookings.
Okay.
And they all went, oh my God, this is going to be great.
Mhm.
Because then it makes them excited. As one of my girlfriends said that I teach with, it's like getting a new car.
Mhm.
You're in your old car, you knew where everything was, you kind of knew how much, and now you're in a new car. You
Right.
just got to learn it.
Yep, I hear you.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do in Teams.
Yeah, there is, there really is. And then, then there's that website, plugin that allows you to pull other things into it. So if you did decide that you wanted to use a Jamboard, and again, this is hypothetical, you could just put that link there and you could have that Jamboard accessible from Teams, So
Mhm.
Teams does have a lot of stuff you can do with it. I think because of that, some may find it to be a little overwhelming initially.
But like I said, I can't see that they're going to continue to pay for Zoom.
Yeah, that you would have to probably talk that up with the administration.
No, they're already, I would assume they're already looking at that. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just saying, I am not putting my focus on Zoom
Right.
because I think Zoom will go away.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Right. But I mean, so
Yeah, and I don't really use poll
uh-huh.
anywhere.
I was
I
just,
do
that
it.
was a bonus, but because when I did this workshop last semester, I did include some activities, some poll everywhere activities in it, kind of embedded. So I did do that. So that's what that was about. And I was just showing them how I set those up. But
Yeah.
out of this, is there anything that you found interesting and anything that you would like to
No,
explore a little bit more?
I think I'm doing pretty good. One thing I do in one of the classes I teach, it's for my professional association,
Okay.
and we use Microsoft forms
Yeah, I use forms
to
too.
do
I like
quizzes.
forms.
And then we bring up because it does the analytics and the beautiful
Yeah. And then
graphics right there to say,
you can
hey,
even
here's how you
customize.
answered this. That's when I use
Yeah.
if I'm doing something live.
And then you can even customize those,
Mhm.
So if you wanted to brand them with the university colors, you could do that.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, no, I think you did everything. Cool. Thanks for showing me those couple new things. I always learn something new when I come to these. That's why I come to them.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
So
Yeah.
thanks so much. I appreciate it.
No
Now I'm
problem.
going to get ready to teach my 4 o'clock class.
All righty.
Zuma, good to see you, even though I
Good
didn't
to
see you. Even though I didn't see you, it's good to hear you.
No, thank you. Same to you. I hope so. Everything goes well.
Thank you. Thank you, Joel.